Antony Blinken gave new details of his vision for post-war Gaza in a speech to the Atlantic Council. The U.S. Secretary of State says there cannot be a power vacuum. He says the Palestinian Authority should invite international partners to run an interim administration and that Israel needs to accept its rule over an eventual Palestinian state.
Israelis must abandon the myth that they can carry out de facto annexation without cost and consequence to Israel's democracy, to its standing, to its security. Israel is expanding official settlements and nationalizing land at a faster clip than any time in the last decade, while turning a blind eye to unprecedented growth in illegal outposts. Violent attacks by extremist settlers against Palestinian civilians have reached record levels.
Gerald Feierstein is the director of the Arabian Peninsula Affairs Program at the Middle East Institute. He previously served as U.S. ambassador to Yemen. He joins me now. Ambassador, thanks so much for taking the time.
It's a pleasure to be with you today, Jim.
First on this deal, because you look at the outlines of this deal, the three phases, et cetera, and that's basically what's been on the table for months now. And I wonder, what do you think made the difference? Is it Donald Trump's threats? Is it a final diplomatic effort by President Biden, perhaps the combination of the two?
Well, I think that the fact that the inauguration for Donald Trump's second term is going to be in a week is certainly a significant factor in the decision, particularly on the Israeli side, to go ahead and agree to this agreement, which, as you said, has been available to the two parties for months and months. And so I think that certainly the president-elect's statements that he wants to see this thing done before he takes office is important, and has certainly played on Benjamin Netanyahu's mind that he wants to do something that's going to put him in good stead with the new administration. This is an important one.
Do you believe that President Biden failed to put the right amount of pressure on Netanyahu? Is there a fundamental difference in their relationship? Because Biden wanted a deal along these lines, as did, we should say, hostage families and a majority of Israelis and even members of Netanyahu's government, Yoav Gallant and others. They've wanted it for months. Well, what is it that Biden didn't do or did wrong to get this deal across the line, the finish line earlier?
Well, I think that certainly the fact that President Biden held back from really putting any teeth into his demands that the Israelis move faster to agree to a ceasefire was a major factor. I think that Benjamin Netanyahu weighing the various issues on his plate, the danger to his own governing coalition if he agreed to the agreement, and the fact that he did not have the same relationship with Joe Biden that he has with Donald Trump certainly played into that. So I think that, yes, Joe Biden should have been stronger. He should have been more insistent with the Israelis to get them to agree. And now we are where we are.
The deal allows Israeli troops to remain on what's known as the Philadelphia corridor in the southern part of Gaza bordering Egypt. That was a sticking point for Hamas, and there were even some Israeli officials, Yoav Gallant among them, who said that wasn't necessary. That's in effect, I suppose, a concession by Hamas. Why do you believe Hamas is making that, or appears to be making that concession at this point?
Well, I think that Hamas also sees with the change of the U.S. and the other factors at the time has come to make an agreement. The Philadelphia corridor issue, of course, is as important to Egypt as it is to Hamas. The rules governing the corridor were part of the Israel-Egypt peace agreement, and so the Egyptians also had to agree to it. I assume that Hamas thinks that regardless of the Israeli presence, they can continue with their efforts to rebuild their presence in Gaza.
Well, we'll see if this deal does get across the finish line in the coming days. The families certainly would love to hear that news. Ambassador Gerald Feierstein, we do appreciate you joining.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.